Hello, J-Man here, and we are back again to talk about some comics from the 90s in a segment that we lovingly call Days of Thunder, the awesome comics of the 90s. Today's topic is the formation of Image Comics. You know you bought them all. You thought you're going to pay off your mortgage and your college education. Or if you thought that, we'll discuss that. Well, I don't know. I didn't think that, but a lot of people thought that, but it didn't happen. But that's okay, because now you can get them all and just read them for fun. And we're going to talk about that today. And I'll explain sort of how we're going to do it. It's not going to be the typical way that people talk about this stuff. So let's bring in my co-host. Hey, how's it going, Sean?
Not bad. How are you?
Is in. He is in. 1407 is in.
Great.
All right.
So
as I was saying, I mentioned this last time when I don't remember what stream it was on, but I don't want to get into this like facts and figures and internet. You know, it's like, oh, what happened and who thought what and like. I want to, because we were there for this. Like, this is the first time ever, and this will never happen again. I know never say never, but I'm very confident. And you're already shaking your head because you know what I'm going to say. This is never happening again. This boom of creativity of like people buying, lining up, rock star comic book artists and stuff. That's never happening again, for sure, in our lifetime. Maybe never again. I know for sure, because the way, and I've never gotten out of the comics industry. I've never not collected comics, and I can just see it. All these creators now, they fight with people on Twitter. They have everyone has their agenda, which we'll talk about. Everyone's got an agenda, but their agenda now is to push political beliefs instead of the agenda of, I want to make an awesome character that fights a bunch of guys and has a lot of cool villains and just beats up people. And that was the agenda. The agenda in the 90s was, I want to make as many heroes as I possibly can, to make as many comics as I possibly can. I want each guy to have more muscles than the last guy. Oh, this guy's got one sword. F that. My guy has 2 swords. Oh, you got 2 swords? My guy has 2 swords on one handle and 2 swords on another handle.
That's true,
yeah. No, I'm serious, right? It's like
Shatterstar and
Shatterstar. Like, oh, you think that's good? Forget that shit. My character, literally blades come out of her arms, right? And then like form armor.
It's and like pouches and all that. And then from there, if you made a team book, which almost everyone seemed to make a team book, every guy got a comic. Like I didn't know. I think I was 1 day old today when I discovered that Vogue had a comic. I didn't know that.
Really? And
there's a Vogue comic. I'm gonna totally get it on eBay now.
There's a Riptide two issue Battlestone, of course.
Yeah.
Anyone who is like one of the main people is gonna get, but even like random people got one.
I wouldn't say Vogue is a main person though, but I guess so. Yeah,
it's in there.
Like Troll had a couple titles.
Troll's got a lot of comics. I just read the Halloween special where he's
Rob Liefeld, bless him, like he was trying to recreate his childhood. So he had Christmas specials, he had Halloween specials.
so Troll teams up with the Max.
Yes.
To fight Mr. Gone, who is Jack the Ripper going in time.
Yeah.
You're like, what is this? This is outrageous, because Troll lives forever, right? And Troll is literally a shorter Wolverine. He's like, it's like, Wolverine's 5 foot, whatever. Screw that. I'm going to make my guy even shorter and even more badass. So he's shorter and wider than Wolverine.
Yeah, he's always like that. But he still looks like Wolverine. He's got the thing, but it goes down, like his hair goes down.
Right? Yeah, it's like a triangle or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's rate. Image started with reminds me of AEW, or AEW. These writers like. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Right. This is the thing.
They don't have respect for the comics. Right. You know, like,
This is why Liefeld and these guys, whether you like the art, that doesn't matter. Liefeld is a fan of comic books.
Well, what was happening there was it was the first time you got like comic fanboys really getting into comics, and like Image when it started was obviously them trying to be Marvel. It was, I mean, they're trying to bury Marvel, but also they're trying to be them. They're trying to be like that shared universe BS, and they even had you know how Marvel had what the Image had Stupid, which was exactly the same. It was like cartoony versions of their characters.
And they had Splitting Image or whatever. Remember that?
Everything. And even when he did the 1963 book, it was all like actual Silver Age type of artwork and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and because they were fanboys, crossovers like crazy. But yeah, because they were fanboys, I'm sitting and trying to pull out. I know I have Splitting Image in here.
Like there was love in it, even if you like. Even as a kid, I knew Spawn was not well written, but it was awesome, and I bought every single issue. I could see the love. I could see that he's trying to be like Amazing Spider-Man. Like every issue was introducing a new villain. And like those villains aren't exactly classic villains anymore, like Apex.
There's that one, Sean, that you were talking. Yes. Yeah, everyone got this one. Now.
Yeah.
Everybody got suckered.
What a sucker! Oh gosh.
This is a sucker. Yeah. Image number 1. Oh my god! And then you're like,
oh, he's like, wait, there's no comics in my comic.
There's no comics.
Yeah, no, it's just
writing. Like, what is this? Like,
I like mittens. Like,
I don't get it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know I have Splitting Image. Hold on. I know it's in here. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, but that's what they're trying to do. And you know what? That whole business of trying to be a shared universe and all that stuff and be like the Silver Age of comics, that inspired everyone else. Like even Malibu that was printing their comics got into it with the Ultraverse and yeah.
Even this, this is a joke.
Yeah.
And even this is better than new comics.
Oh yeah,
like the layouts and the art, and everything, which is
exciting
really
to look at now. Like they're exciting to read now. And it's like, why don't they have this excitement, like jump off the page excitement, that they hadn't. Like I know everyone makes fun of the 90s comics, but if you look at it, there's a reason why people are buying it, not just because of the speculation, but like I read all this stuff. We said this before. It's like, yeah, I'm buying number ones, but like I read it, and if I don't like it, I move on. We'll get into that because when I went down the list, like I made notes of what I had bought and what I didn't buy, and when I go down the list, I can see why I didn't. If I lost interest, there's probably a reason, And some of them might be surprising, like we mentioned Wildcats last time. Yep. And I was like, I know it was white hot, but after issue 4, I didn't care anymore. I don't know why. Yeah, no.
There's number 2 with that really sparkly.
Oh yeah, 2 with the sparkle thing. Yeah.
I got the first 3, and then I stopped.
Oh, I got the first 4. That was a miniseries, and then they started over.
Yeah.
But Savage Dragon did the same thing. They had a miniseries, and then they started over.
I missed a Savage Dragon somehow. I got Stormwatch. Everyone got Stormwatch.
Yeah, Stormwatch 1, yeah.
Yeah, no, Savage Dragon is weird because I got this is very weird because like I don't know how I missed this because they all did miniseries first.
Yeah.
So I got Savage Dragon 1, 2, 3, and I think that was 4? And I don't have number 4, but then I'm missing number 2 of the regular series.
Oh wow!
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed it.
Yeah, I feel like I was trying to remember because I think Savage Dragon might have been the first trade paperback out of
okay.
Because I got the 4 of them and then I got the trade paperback because I was like, I'll read this and I'll keep these, right? So. And I carried that with me everywhere. Like, we'll get into some of that. But so Image starts.
Yeah.
How do you know about it?
It's I just quickly off the top of my head, it was Rob Liefeld,
yeah,
Tom McFarlane, Marc Silvestri, Eric Larson, Will Spertasio, Jim Valentino, Jim Lee.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's it. That's the 7.
There's 7. Yeah.
That's the 7. And each guy. So. Rob was Youngblood. So the first Image comic to come out, period, is this.
Youngblood's 1. Yeah.
Youngblood number 1.
Yeah.
And
it's April.
Also Image. I just picked up. We're going to talk about we'll do a Wildcats episode where we talk about the cartoon because it's on YouTube. You can watch the whole thing. I have the Witchblade TV series, which I just started to rewatch again. I have to watch that again.
We can probably talk about Spawn separately. We'll talk about Spawn here, but like Spawn's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's no, like and I'm thinking,
when I looked through the timeline, like that was white hot for a while, man. Yeah. Until I think the movie cauterized the wound.
and I'm thinking it's going to be like Spawn, like movie cartoon could be its own like.
Well, Spawn. Spawn cartoon, movie, cartoon, and toy line is all revolutionary at the time and like crazy big. Like that toy line was big.
It's big. I've got so many stories with that. The sucky thing is that when I got into my 30s, I thought I was too good for this stuff, and I sold. Well, you were there for that. I sold all my Spawn toys. Except for one. I kept one Spawn toy.
I don't know if they're worth anything still, though. It's like the Star Wars toys of the time. They're not worth anything. Yeah. I bought and sold and rebought and resold them countless times. I don't have them anymore, but it's like one of those things like, I got them. It's like I sell them. It's like, who cares? And I buy them. I should really get these again. And I sell them again.
I've got some of the Youngblood ones on my shelf behind me. So those I can pull
out. They're McFarlane toys, right?
It's McFarlane, but Youngblood characters.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the thing. McFarlane did a lot of the image things, but then again, Playmates did them too, like for the cartoons and things.
I had what's the girl?
Zealot.
Zealot. So I had Zealot.
Zealot.
Yeah, I had Zealot. What's the guy's name? Hellspawn. Yeah.
How the hell did they do that? Like
he was wicked. It was like translucent.
Yeah.
I had those two. Who else did I have? For sure, I had those two, and I know I sold them. But you know what? They were made of that weird plastic that had rubber on it, and they got very sticky.
Oh yeah.
I kept my Witchblade. I had Witchblade.
Yeah.
I had Kenneth Irons, who was the man, the bad guy. I had Nottingham. He was the guy with the coat, the really cool coat.
Yeah.
So I had those, and I sold them all, but I did keep Witchblade herself, and I think she's in storage.
That's cool.
I kept Witchblade herself because I liked Witchblade. Yeah. So okay. So I want to go from the fan perspective, from the ground level, not from the like internet level. So yeah, Youngblood was April. We just checked. Youngblood was April 1992. That was the first one.
And the next month is Spawn.
And Spawn, and I sold. I don't have any of my Spawns here. I sold Spawn 1 to 50.
I want to get your take on this because I remember Spawn at newsstand distribution.
It was
so Spawn was everywhere in terms of like grocery stores and convenience stores and stuff. Youngblood, I don't remember that anywhere in newsstand. No, so I guess Tom McFarlane made a deal somewhere that like his would be and that got it everywhere. And you know what? That's a testament to how popular Spawn was, because I think that's part of how it became so big. Because if the other guys did that, like it would be as massive. Like they would have a movie in '97, right?
So, by the time Image came out, I was hitting the comic shop. This is why I want to talk about from fan level.
Right, yeah.
When Image Comics came out, this is when I was hitting the comic stores every week, and I had a pull list and all this other bullshit. Now, Youngblood, I got Youngblood, Spawn number 1. I got all the number 1s. I actually got every Image comic that came out. Every single one that came out. Now, I sold a whole bunch of them except for some of the ones that I've got. Right. I basically have one. If I put all of them together, it's about just short of one long box left.
Yeah.
I would have had 2 long boxes, but I sold a long box full, which was mostly Spawn 1 to 50, and then just random shit that I didn't care about. Plus, my friend, my buddy, gave me all of his Image comics, which I also got rid of because I didn't need duplicates of a lot of them. But I got Spawn 1 and Spawn 2. Spawn 3, my comic shop sold out of or something, or I didn't get it.
They ordered it low.
They ordered
2 and 3. They ordered it low, yeah.
Yeah. So Spawn number 3, I got from the convenience store. This is how I know for sure it was there, because I went to this convenience store to play Street Fighter. That's where I would play my Street Fighter games.
Yeah.
And I hadn't bought a comic book from a convenience store in like years at that point. And I went to the magazine section. I was like, holy shit, they have Spawn comics, and they had number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Spawn number 3 that I got was from the convenience store. So I know for a fact that convenience stores, newsstands, whatever, had Spawn, but I never saw any other Image comic there ever.
My spawns were mostly newsstand from that time, like when they're coming out, because like it was just easy to get those, right? Like I'd have to go to the comic shop to get stuff like Youngblood and everything, and that was difficult because I had no clue when they were coming out because because we knew when issue 1 was coming out, but after that, like all bets are off, man. And the other thing too, I think Image got us all got me at least used to bi-monthly, because I was used to comics coming out every month. It's like Marvel, DC, it's like you didn't question it. It's like
Right.
see you in 30, it would say at the end, right? And it's like they're monthly, and to me, like comics are a monthly thing. And then here are these comics coming out bi-monthly, and I didn't know if it was a mistake, or like they were lackadaisical, or like that was just, I think it was a combination of the two. It was like they couldn't keep up with the pace, and they said, you know what, this is bi-monthly now. Because like it's like a lot of these things are coming out every second month, and it's like, is that wrong, or are they doing that? But yeah. Spawn would just come out every month. Now I'm like, well, Spawn can do it. I don't know what these other guys are doing.
McFarlane was crazy. He's like, I have to get this out there. Everybody else was more like, yeah, I'll draw these kind of whenever. And then what happened was, and then it's like, well, from my understanding, if we take it back to that time, monthly was just a given. It's like, okay, it's next month. So then at some point in time, I remember getting these, and this is why I'm missing weird, like, you know, I don't have Wildcats 4. I don't have Savage Dragon number 4. I don't have Savage Dragon number 2.
It passes you by,
And I'm like, how did I miss this or something? And maybe I don't know if I had. Maybe I didn't have a pull list at the time, or my shop didn't do it or something because they wanted people in there. And it's like, and I'm like, wow, how am I missing this? And I get discouraged super quickly.
Well, that's the thing, and I was gonna say too, it's not just discouraged, but also the 90s was filled with lots of new stuff every freaking week. And if you make one wrong move in the scheduling, you've lost me.
Yep.
I might come back, but I'm keeping up with so many other things, you know, like you've kind of lost me. So yeah.
I was buying every Image comic that was coming out. And
if you saw it,
I grabbed it. And then it's like
Pitt's the worst. I love Pitt. I wanted to follow Pitt, but my God, they made it so hard. It's like, when the
I gave up after like 2 issues or something. I literally gave up. Darkness, I gave up. Witchblade, I also gave up. But I bought a trade of Witchblade, so I was reading it that way. But like a lot of these things, it's like, meh.
I want to bring this up later, but we'll bring it up now because we're talking about scheduling. The whole, do you remember this as Spawn 21?
Yes, where it was the wrong.
Where they released, it was like, it was 18, 19. No. It was like they released 21 before 19 and 20 or something like that.
Yeah, it was something. It was a real mess up.
Yeah, and Todd McFarlane did that on purpose to screw up Diamond in some sort of infighting, and I was like, that's when I started to shake on Spawn. I was like, well, don't fuck around with me because you're screwing me, not Diamond.
Right?
Like, I don't know
how we got Diamond, but now I'm like, this is weird. What is happening? Did I miss something?
Yeah. And no, I read about in Wizard. They had a thing, and I'm like, okay, so we did it on purpose. I don't like that though, because I was following Spawn. I was reading it, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. From the fan perspective, it's like we start to lose track, and you're like, okay, wait, what happened here? And for me, because I had so many other things, I'm like, okay, like, well, you know me in anything, in toy collecting, and even now with these digital comics and this brutal shit that's going on, it's like like if you lose me, it's over, because I can find an alternative in 2 seconds. It's like, okay, Spawn's not coming out, or it's coming out weird numbers. I'm like, okay, I'll just go back to Spider-Man. And it's like, he's all, you know, Spider-Man's always been there. He comes out.
He had a title every week. So
title every week.
And then for those trick weeks that was like, there's a 5th week in the month. They had, was it Spider-Man? I can't remember. Oh, Unlimited. It was that. So it's like, so then they fill up every single week, and they didn't miss a trick, you know?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, yeah, for me, it's like reliability. It's like, I know Action Comics is coming out. I know Spider-Man's coming out. I know there's a Batman coming out.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I'm trying your new stuff. the thing is, I'm trying your new stuff and I'm really liking your new stuff and I'm buying it all.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you don't mess up.
Yeah.
Because now you've got these guys hooked. And for me, the art trumped the story, which is what Image was about. Because this was the first time for me where I knew the people. And I think people underestimate the power of knowing the creators, because I never cared before. I like Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, the big mega people who are like, yeah, Bill Everett. Like, these are the big icon, like the what's the Mount Rushmore. This is like the Rushmore characters, right? I don't like Steve Englehart. Turns out I love Steve Englehart.
Yeah.
Turns out I love Marv Wolfman. But if you asked me at that time, who's writing these books that you like, I'm like, man, I don't know. It's like, I like West Coast Avengers. Okay. It's like, oh, that's Englehart. Oh, okay. I don't know. But when you ask me, it's like Todd McFarlane. Oh shit, yeah, I know Todd McFarlane. He draws that cool Spider-Man Hulk. And I was collecting those Hulks and Spider-Mans that he was drawing. I'm like, oh man, this guy's the best. And then when he got his own title, I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh, this Rob Liefeld guy. Yeah, man, Cable's my favorite character. He's like the best ever. It's like, I was a Cable guy. I wasn't a Deadpool guy at all.
Mm-hmm.
The best Deadpool thing I ever read is right now, Deadpool Samurai. It's a manga.
Yeah.
They did a manga with Deadpool.
Okay.
It's genius. Best Deadpool thing I've read since Rob Liefeld had that character in X-Force. Because I could never get into it. But Cable, love Cable. So it's like, who's writing Cable? Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
Right? Like, instantaneous. And I was there for the creation of all these things. We're like, yeah, X-Force #1, I've got like 100 copies of that. It's like, okay, here we go. And that's the thing. It's like, and because these guys were so cool with, it seemed like, yeah, they're cool and they're closer to our age, or, you know, they weren't really our age, but they were somewhere in the realm.
They were early. Well, I don't know how old everyone else was, but like Rob was 23.
Yeah.
And the man looked like Matt Damon, eh?
I know, he's exactly Matt Damon.
He looks like Matt Damon. But the other guys were young. I just don't know. They're probably mid to late 20s, but like Will's Potasio looks like a high school kid.
Yeah, he looks young. Jim Lee looks young.
Jim Lee looks like a kid, but like he speaks like an adult. You know,
Jim Valentino looks a bit older. He's
Jim Valentino looks like the kind of kid that would beat me up in school.
I like him. He's good.
Yeah,
but yeah, because you were there and you're like, oh, I know these. Like, this is the first time where someone's telling you all these names. You're like, oh my god, I know that guy. I know that guy too. Wait, what's going on? They're leaving? Oh, so I was collecting Spider-Man like mad. Reading it, rereading it, like the whole thing with Wendigo, and like with Lizard in the beginning, Torment and all that. Oh my god! And then I saw, then there was the X-Horror crossover. I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. I got Executioner's Song. I still have my original Executioner's Song issues with the card in them and all that.
Yeah.
And I love that. And then it was like, oh, Bye Todd, right? The Bye Todd on Spider-Man number 16 after that X-Force crossover where they fight Juggernaut.
Yeah.
I thought, what's going on here? And now the issue prior to 1615 was not Todd McFarlane either. I think it may have been Eric Larson. I sold my Spider-Mans, which is probably a fail. I shouldn't have sold. I had 1 to 40 of that. But I sold that and Spawn, 1 to 50 Spawn, 1 to 40 Spider-Man. I am going to rebuy Spawn #1 and I'll rebuy Spider-Man #1 because I want to do a stream on the $1 million or on the million copies
$1 million sellers of
$1 million. Yeah. So we're going to do that for sure. I just don't, I'd like to have Spider-Man before we do it.
Yeah.
Because I've got X-Men already and I already have X-Force. I had Spider-Man, but I don't, but I can get it back.
We'll talk about how badly Marvel really handled their talent pool there. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like it's a colossal screw up because it kind of like affected the industry.
Well, now you have all these guys saying F you. And the best part of this story is, I didn't know this at the time, but we'll say it now, is where they all got together and told Marvel, yeah, we're done. And then they all went over to DC.
Yeah.
Just
oh God.
We're not
for no reason. Just no reason to do that. Yeah.
They do. Well, this is why Rob Liefeld overpays for his guys. Yeah. This is where you get the splats, which Stephen Platt and all that.
But I gotta say, like, we're what 20 years now from the debut of I mean, I know it originated in February, so people celebrate it in February, right? In this month, but the first one was April in 92. And the thing is, 30 years, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I still hear creators from Marvel boo-hooing about how like Marvel took their the thing that they wrote and made billions of dollars in the movies on their idea. Like Ed Brubaker was boo-hooing a couple years. And listen, like all respect to Ed Brubaker and everything, but like, dude, did you learn nothing from the Image guys? Like, did any of you learn anything? It's like they went and they did their own thing. You can make fun of the pouches and laugh at the bad writing and stuff, but they like Image still exists, right? And it's the founding principles are still there, and that's how you're able to get Walking Dead and Saga and like Monstrous and all this stuff. It's like those guys who make those comics own that, and so when like that's how Robert Kirkman is rich. Robert Kirkman, if he did Walking Dead for Marvel, he wouldn't be rich off of this, like off the countless TV shows and video games. It's like, you know, an Invincible and all that stuff. It's like you can boo-hoo and say like, listen, you had to know this was gonna happen, and they made these movies and stuff based on your writing and stuff like that. It's like, go to Image. They're gonna take the mighty Ed Brubaker
for sure
and come up with something of your own. If you can't, then maybe I don't have a lot of sympathy. I don't know. That sounds terrible, but like this is 30 years in, and you're boohooing about this still. Like there are options, and it's like people have been rich off of this. I don't know what the problem is. Anyway, sorry.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, literally, these 7 guys got together and like, yo. Because out of the 7 guys, it was like out of the top 20 comics that were selling, it's like, I don't know, like 15 of them were from these guys or whatever. It's like every top selling comic was due to these guys. And when Todd McFarlane got his own Spider-Man, that immediately outsold all the other ones.
Well, they became rapidly in like months. They became the number 3 comic company, fighting with Dark Horse over that, and arguably, they're the reason why Superman died. They're the reason why Batman's back was broken. They're the reason why the Spider clone bullshit. Yeah. It's like the Marvel and DC were scrambling, you know, at that point. They're like, oh my god, you know, like, and these 7 dudes did that, and like they had all this, like they were as shocked as everyone else, I think, but there was something bubbling up in the zeitgeist. Like people wanted their stories, you know, and their way of doing comics were like you're flipping it for the big splash page, you know, like stuff's just jumping off the page, you know.
Oh, it's crazy. You could take any random comic and pull it out, and you're like, whoa, this is awesome. It's like you're flipping through, like this is so crazy.
Yeah, great. Marvel made the worst decisions. They didn't quite understand how shakeups happen. DC, we could talk about that in another thing, but DC's shakeups were the best. Everything they handled was exquisite, like to the point where it's like, I like Kyle Rayner. I like Kyle Rayner too. I didn't want to like Kyle Rayner, but it's like because they replaced Hal Jordan and he killed him and all that stuff. But I was like, I like this story. What the hell? You guys know what to do, right? But anyway.
Well, I think next episode, I think next week's let's do Death of Superman. Let's do Death of Superman.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
But yeah, so like I mean, and so we're on the ground level here. You're going and picking up your comics, and all of a sudden your shop and your guy or whoever it is you got is telling you, hey, listen, you know how you were collecting Spider-Man and X-Force and all that? Those guys are done. It's like, what do you mean they're done? It's like, yeah, they're doing their own company. It's like, whoa, okay. Yeah. It's like, is there not going to be X-Force anymore? And at that point, Image Comics is important to me because this was the point where the creators mattered to me.
Yeah.
Before that, I followed the character. Look, I'm a kid. I want to read Spider-Man. I didn't flip through and say like, oh, this art isn't as good as the art from 13 issues ago. Why is that? Oh, I didn't think like that. I'm like, okay, I got to get the Spider-Man comic. And obviously I thought, I like the way Spider-Man's drawn. He not as much in this one as he was in the last one, but I wasn't thinking. I'm like, yeah, but I got to read Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it's like I read Action Comics. I'm never stopping Action Comics. Oh, Bendis and I don't care. It's like I'm reading Action Comics. Like, what do you want me to do? Bendis. Oh, it's like, well, too bad. And now Bendis is gone, and now we're continuing on with our lives. And it's like, well, he ruined all these things. It's like, well, he ruined all these things, but what do you want? It's like they'll unruin them later. And he didn't single-handedly ruin everything. A lot of people ruin stuff. So anyway, but it was the first time where I was like, whoa, all of these things that I like are all these like 4 or 5 guys doing this. Because I wasn't reading Guardians of the Galaxy. I know you like that one.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wow, all of my favorite stuff, the can't miss. Even my buddy Paul was getting X-Force. He still has all his X-Force. He continued on. I'm like, these guys are all jumping ship. I'm like, I'm out of here. When it said bye, Todd, I still stayed with Spider-Man because it was Spider-Man. I went up to
Spider-Man, yeah.
But I'm like, oh man. And Eric Larson did some Spider-Mans in the meantime.
Well, he did amazing. Well, he did Spider-Man?
He did Spider-Man,
yeah.
And before, but whatever. So I'm like, and then that guy's like doing Savage Dragon. I'm like, well, now this guy's gone. Like all these guys are gone. What the hell? So I'm like, I need to get in on this right now. And then it started to be like, whoa, these guys are really known to me. I know all their names. I know their faces. This has never happened before, except for Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, whatever, the Mount Rushmore people. Other than that, couldn't pick them all. Even today, if you lined up Brubaker, Engelhardt, Wolfman, who else? Name everybody. All line them up. It's like, quick, who's who? I don't know their faces.
Yeah.
Well, I know some of them are dead or whatever, but like,
I don't know them now.
What's the Captain America guy? Grunwald? No, what's the guy?
Captain America guy. The people that created him?
No, not the creator. Not the creator. The guy who did the run that I just collected.
Oh, just before Heroes Reborn. I think it's Grunwald. No,
Grunwald. Yeah. Don't know what he's passed away. Don't know what didn't know what he looked like. Right.
He passed away shortly after that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I literally and they put his ashes in a comic. Eh? Did you know they they put his ashes in and printed comics with it so you can get them. Anyways,
great. We're talking about like just before Heroes Reborn in the 90s. There's a huge run.
But no, I'm talking about Grunwald or whatever. So it's like I didn't know anything, and I love these comics. This is the comics I really loved, and I didn't know their names. This is the first time where I cared about their names, and I'm like, wow, I'm jumping. And when they said bye, Todd, I was like, oh my god, I have to freaking get in on this. And then that's when you had the speculators, and I'm like, why is there 100 people in this comic? I used to go to the comic shop, and they'd be like me and my buddies, and I was like the top head guy. And it's like, oh yeah, Jay, Jay Man's here, yeah, what's up, and all that. And now it's like, why am I surrounded by all these other people?
It used to be crowded, and it's funny. Towards the end of the 90s, I would go and there was like no one there. I was like, what the hell? Like, and now it's the same thing. I remember one time going in there one Sunday a few years back, and a mutual friend of ours brother was there, and I was like, hey, and we're the only two guys in that comic shop. But so 92 was Youngblood, Spawn, Savage Dragon, Wildcats, Darker Image, Shadowhawk, Cyberforce, Supreme. Those are classic Image to me, and all of those guys are classic Image roster to me.
I don't have
all those things debuted.
I got rid of Darker Image.
Yeah.
But wait, do I have it? Did I get it back? I got some of this stuff.
And at the time, it was white hot because it had first appearances of all these guys. Like Blood Wolf was a stupid joke, but it was basically that Blood Wolf got his own series. Deathblow,
I have some Blood Wolf, I think.
I thought Deathblow was stupid. It was just a dumb Punisher bullshit clone. Yeah.
Is that number one? Yeah, that's number
I didn't continue on with
I only have number one.
Deathblow, yeah. But Max was cool. Max looked interesting from that debut. It's like, well, this is weird. And
but look at this Deathblow. So this is Deathblow, which you just trashed, right?
Yeah.
But look. Oh wait.
No, he looks awesome.
Look at that's awesome. So that's what I'm saying.
But you're swimming in a sea of Punisher clones. There's like a lot more than that guy, right?
I'm just saying, random Image comic.
Yeah.
And it looks cool. Like it still looks cool. So if you're pumped up for this guy, like what is this? Oh my god, Cybernary. This is the flip book. I didn't realize.
Cybernary, yeah. Oh god, the flip books, yeah.
Right, but you're just like look at Stormwatch. I mean, I know they're a thing now, but you're just like, whoa, this looks like super cool.
Yeah.
Like, who are these guys?
And there's our boy, Sentinel.
Oh, Sentinel. Yeah, Sentinel. Yeah. I like Sentinel.
Yeah, he's awesome. But what's weird about Darker Image is that, Max debuts in that. I think that's in the summer or something like that of that year. And then way into March or something of the next year is Max number one.
And okay, so Youngblood, I should have another Youngblood number one I can go through. I have a few Youngblood number ones. Anyways, but even if you just grab a random, trying to just grab something Bloodstrike number one, I've got Riptide.
Yeah.
It's what was this one?
Bloodstrike number, yes.
Blood. Oh, I like Bloodstrike a lot. I've read the first 10 now.
Yeah.
I'm going through all of these. I think I put my doubles in a separate thing. I think I did. Yeah. Like, look, yeah, I got blood. Like, it's like, yeah, like War Child.
Yep. Yeah,
and
War
like
Child.
friggin' there's
everything has a Y. If there's an I, it's replaced with a Y.
Yeah, I know.
You went through in Word and just like replace all with Y.
Yeah, that was their way to do it or whatever.
That was the Rob Liefeld thing.
That's the Rob Liefeld thing. Yeah. You can get your Rob Liefeld name. You know that thing where it's like you pick your date of birth and your number or whatever, and then it tells you your Rob Liefeld superhero name. It's like I'm like Blood Cannon or something or whatever. Yeah. It's like UD or whatever.
But yeah, all that stuff, like I bought all of it. And Savage Dragon, I was super into. Savage Dragon was like a Playmates toy line, like in the label. And the thing is, they did do it, but they only did 3 characters. But my God, like he was just spitting out. It's like he had like creative diarrhea. It's just like blah. All these awesome, like there's the one guy that's a skull with eyeballs, like the Evil Dead 2 poster.
Yeah,
and he's got like red hair or something coming out. I was like, oh my God, that guy's awesome. And it's just throwaway guys that like Savage Dragon would just dispatch with. I remember, I think it's issue 2 or 3 at the mini. I think it's the miniseries where Savage Dragon fights Badrock. He was Bedrock at the time.
He was Bedrock
for Hanna-Barbera. I remember as a young man being angry at that. And I was like, no, you know what? Hanna-Barbera's in the right. What the hell were they doing? Yeah, versus Megaton. But yeah, I have that too actually somewhere.
Yeah, I was mad too. I was thinking, why are they so pissed? Like, just let it be Bedrock. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, but you know what? That's Rob Liefeld's fault. Of course, they're gonna claim Bedrock, right? So he became Bedrock. But when he's Bedrock, he fought Savage Dragon, and he had this big knockdown, drag out fight in Chicago, and then and then he's like, hey man, I was just trying you out to perhaps join our team, Youngblood. And it's like, Youngblood, what the hell is that, right? And guy goes, okay, can I go now? You know, and then Savage Dragon's like, you destroyed half this block. It's like you're under arrest, right? That's awesome. I love that. I love that Savage Dragon was a cop. It was like, of course, a superhero that's a cop. That's awesome.
I love that idea. Yeah. And I made my own Savage Dragon figure. Mm-hmm. Which was I took a G.I. Joe character. Mm-hmm. He's the guy who had a white shirt and had all those bullets, and he had like pegs coming out of him where you could put missile launchers.
Oh yeah,
I don't know which.
It's a 90s guy, I know.
Yeah. I converted him, and I took I had a busted head of I can't remember who it was, but I carved a line in the head, and I made the fin. Yeah. And I shoved the fin in and I glued it and painted him green, and I made him Savage Dragon.
That's awesome.
With like the white shirt. Yeah, I made a Savage Dragon figure. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I wish I still had that to show you guys. It was so good.
I thought he was cool. I mean, the thing is that like Savage Dragon
still going.
Yeah, it's Eric Larson's baby from childhood. And you could see the love there, and like that's why he's still doing it, right? You know, like he's not like these other guys like, I'll make IP and make money off it and move on, right? Which we it looks like now was the game plan, right? It's like Wildcats was never gonna be a legacy thing. We thought it was, but it looks like Jim Lee just like it was just a stepping stone for him. It's like, I'll make cartoons, make money off that. I'll sign a deal with Playmates for figures, make money off that, and move on. You know, and that's kind of what happened, right? So
yeah,
and the Savage Dragon is done for the love. And I think people are gravitating back to Eric Larson saying, you know what? We made fun of you, but you're still doing this. It's like 300 whatever. And it's not like Todd McFarlane where in order to get things going, he'd get Capullo or whoever to do it for him. It's like, yeah, their Spawn's still going, but you know what? It's not Todd McFarlane all the time, right? And
man, it hasn't been Todd McFarlane in 100 years.
Yeah, Eric Larson, it's all him, you know?
So Wildcats number 3, random issue. I'm just gonna make myself full screen for a second. So just random number 3 because it's not bagged and boarded.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's number 3, and then like look, random page. Look at how ridiculous, like.
Yeah, it's dynamic stuff. You know, it's funny. I was reading Superman versus Spider-Man, like the old the Treasury editions,
the big one,
and that's how they did those Treasury editions. So it's nothing new, but the thing is, they did it for those because it was a big format, and they're depicting a big event. So there's a lot of like flipping around and stuff like that, and it's huge. And the Image guys are bringing that style to just every comic, and that was unheard of back then. It's like that big event style, but for every single floppy issue. That Marvel and DC just by tradition or whatever were like, oh, we won't do that, pinky up in the air. And the Image guys were clobbering them with this kind of new dynamic style that was always around, but like Marvel and DC were just stuck in their ways and never did. They just did the traditional, like 6 panels per page.
Todd McFarlane.
Yeah,
that's what Todd said. He's like, this is every page. Yeah. Every character you can go like this and be like, yeah, there's your character. And it's like it's like the Star Wars, how they came up with the size or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like he goes, this is every character. It's like this 2-inch character. Mm-hmm. And it's like the thing is that like Todd McFarlane would be like, if you give a writer lots of panels and spaces, he's gonna fill all that up with writing.
Yeah.
He goes, but if you just give him like one big splash page or something, then he'll just fill in that. Like it's like because writers are going to want to shove in as much as they can in every panel. But he goes, I wouldn't give them that many panels, so they had to condense it. Mm-hmm. I was reading. The thing is about manga, because I was reading this is a weird comparison, but like I was reading the Samurai Deadpool Samurai, and I mean I read 100 pages in like I don't know, like minutes, because it's all dynamic. It's manga, so it's like big, like big texts, and it's like flip, and you're like, wow, like you felt like, wow, a lot happened, and I went through this very quickly.
Yeah.
And I was just catching up on, so I'm trying to get through all these things. I'm doing Brigade right now.
Yeah.
And because I have a lot of those issues. That was like one of my favorites. And then they cross over with Bloodstrike, so I've been going to Bloodstrike as well. And I'm like, Brigade, I'm like, there's this one issue. I'm like, wow, I was like, a lot happened in here, and it was fast.
Yeah.
And the thing with Image was like the last like 4 pages was always bullshit stuff, right?
Yes.
But like I'm like, but they really crammed a lot in there, and it's just fast. It's like, you betrayed me, fight. How could you do this? Fight. Okay, it's like, let's get to it. And then what was I reading this week? Was it one of the X books? Maybe it was something else. I don't know. I was reading something this week. I'm thinking, oh God, like when am I getting through this comic? Like I'm like, I'm only halfway through, and like nothing. New Mutants.
Right.
I'm halfway through the New Mutants, like brand new issue. I'm like, what is going on in this comic? Like, I'm like, nothing is happening, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, you could throw this away and just read the next one, and it wouldn't matter.
There's no forward momentum in a lot of those comics. It's like people are just standing around for like BS. Even some, like I love Executioner's Song and Extinction Agenda and all that stuff. Yeah. But some of those, like in the beginning of those, because they're trying to establish the characters. It's like, here's all the crossover characters, and it's a lot of stupidness. It's like Boom Boom is like, I want to, train in this room, and these other guys are in the room, and then like some other dude comes and is like, hey, yeah, that's true. Hey, Bell. And then Cable's like, let me see what I can do. And then like 4 pages later, it's resolving like, what happened here? It's like, what was the purpose of all of this? Just to show me the characters? Yeah. They could do something. You know what? How Image would do it? It's like guys break into the to their base. The mega explosion. There's a huge hole in the wall. Like metal guys pour out, and they're fighting them. And each guy is like, I'll destroy you with my psionic, like fists or whatever. And it's like oh, blah blah is destroying them with the psionic fist. Look what I can do with my super eyes or whatever. It's like
it's action
like that. It's like each guy, you get to know them through the action, right? They're fighting guys like, this guy is a little bit more temperamental than this one. It's like, okay, well, I get it now.
Like Battlestone lost his mind and started beating the crap out of Boone, and you're like, whoa, they were buddies. What happened? And that's where the drama comes in. Like the Image comics and the 90s stuff, a lot of it, there was a lot of action. Yeah. And it was like, this is what I was picking it up for. Like, if you're buying a team book, there needs to be a couple of pages of, okay, what's the mission or what are we doing? Yeah. Then there needs to be a lot of cool fights, and you have a couple of character moments. Not every character needs to shine. 1 or 2 characters have a shining moment in that battle or something. Yeah. And then you conclude that battle, and that pushes the story forward. And then, okay, at the end, there's a stinger like, oh no, there's like an extra mission, or there's a secret door that we didn't know about, and then next issue will be going there.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm reading Brigade, and I know I know that you're like me. You'll grab like a pile of like I've got like a reader pile. Here's my reader pile. Yeah. So like I have a reader pile which I keep all in one. There's about 4 or 5 in one bag here.
Yeah.
Right. So it's one. So I pull them out and then I put it behind, and then you know. So now I'm on Brigade number 15 right now.
Okay.
And like you power through these, you're like, holy shit! Like it's like you're like, oh, damn, that was awesome. Like let me get the next one.
Yeah.
And like you can read 3 in a sitting, and you're just like, wow, like this is nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Same with the Deadpool manga that I got. That the Deadpool Samurai. It's like that may as well have been like a 90s thing. Well, this is why manga sells. It's very exciting and very dynamic and fast.
Yeah.
And I don't want. There needs to be some level of disposability, to the sense where it's like, this looks cool. Okay. Now you're keeping comic books now because you're like, well, it's a comic book and I don't want to throw it away. You're not keeping it because you actually like it and want to go through it again.
No.
I go through these and I'm like, oh, that was awesome. I'm going to go through this again. And then I go through it a second time because you're like, the art is cool. First time around, you kind of like, I almost skim them just to see like what's going on. Then I'm like, wow, that was really cool. I'm like, okay, let me go back. And then I pay attention more to the art. And it's like, it is very manga style, especially Rob's and Jim's as well. And it's just exciting. Like even you know, there's like this cover here. It's like, ooh, what's going on with Battlestone? And like they're all here, all on the side concerned. You're like, ooh, what's happening? Yeah. And I know there's a lot of this idea of like, okay, we're posing all the characters and stuff like that. Yeah. But at least like, you know, at least it's like a dynamic thing. Like, you know, like you're like, well, look at all these guys, you know?
Yeah, I mean, some of the comics were based also on just like titillation and stuff. I wanted to say, like, so I have Gen 13.
Gen 13, dude. Here, right?
That's No, that's my only Gen 13 issue. Right. Because like there's something that turned me off about Gen 13. And I don't even have Deathmate Black, which was their first appearance.
Right.
I can get it now for nothing because no one cares about Gen 13. But back then they were white hot. Yeah. And yeah, just something about the other one was the 10th, where I don't know if you bought the 10th, but it was about this monster that's the 10th monster, and this girl Riptide, there you go. She could control moisture or whatever. But but the 10th so there's a monster, but there's this girl that befriends him, and she has telekinesis. And every time she uses it, her clothes peels off, right? And there's no reason for that. There's no reason for that. But it's just like, whatever. And then after a while, like I read the first couple issues, and I'm like, I feel icky reading this now. So forget. She's supposed to be like a teenage girl or something. So yeah, I might get the rest of those just to see where the hell it went. But like, I don't know what the story. But that was a white hot comic at the time, only because of that, I think, right? For the most part, like the Rob Liefeld stuff, like I know people always make fun of like the snap spines and stuff. It's like, how can a girl look like that, right? But for the most part, they were just dudes fighting. It's like it was pretty cool. It wasn't too much of the stupidness. It was like the sophomoric stupidity. It was more just like a lot like Team Youngblood. Like I'm almost finished going through those. They're awesome. It's like there's always some cool thing happening, and it's a consistent team all the time, which I think is cool.
I'm on Team Youngblood. I just put away my that's package one. I'm packaging my on here. Yeah, so I'm on number 15 right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, number 15 for that, and that's got Dutch on the cover here. I like Dutch and Sentinel. Those guys are kick ass, man. I gotta get the toys of both those guys, man. Both those toys are great.
Yeah, they made a Sentinel.
Like, look at Sentinel. Let me show you Sentinel. It's like we need. There's no black heroes. Oh, there's no black heroes. Look at this bastard. Boom, man. This guy's the friggin' best.
Yeah, he's awesome. It's like and he's all over those Youngbloods. It's like
where's this like, guy?
Kind of a star, really. But
I would do, man, if I did a Youngblood movie. This issue is not that great though, because this is the issue that has that where it's all you passed this, right? You've passed this issue, right?
Yeah, probably.
Where it was like this, it was just like
it's past 15. Yeah.
It was that issue. It was like the poor man's
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. That was the only. I was very disappointed when I opened that because normally, you're used to getting like stuff like this.
Yeah, the other gimmick, because we were talking about when they threw us for a loop. The other gimmick I didn't like, even though they were all raving about it, was when they jumped to issue 25 to show what would happen in the future. They jumped back. I always thought that was incredibly stupid.
I don't like that at all.
I don't think they understood the frustration of the fans at the time with just stuff coming out in general.
And Shadowhawk.
Yeah, Spawn was black. Chapel.
Chapel.
Yeah, no, they did a lot. And the thing is, like, they're not black, but they're just they felt it was the right thing to do, and they felt like this is the world we live in, right? So they, it wasn't.
And they made new characters,
and they're cool characters too.
And they're cool, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Asterix.
Yeah,
they're
it's
also
not
cool.
Snowflake
and Safe Space.
It's like they made a cool like Sentinel. If you read those comics, Sentinel is the man.
He's the man. I know he's the best.
To him, he's a rock to lean on. It's like it's weird because when there's fighting and then Sentinel shows up, I'm like, yeah, now things are gonna get taken care of. Like you feel a sense of relief because he's great. He's like he's like I wouldn't say he's like dad or something, but he's like he's the guy is gonna take care of business. Like they can rely on him, and that there's confidence. Like he's a strong dude.
Man, if I was doing like a Brigade movie or Team Youngblood or something, I would actually do like how they do the bullet time thing, but I wouldn't do that. I would do things where it's like there'd be like a big punch in it, and I would freeze it. First, I would make it very colorful, but freeze it and have it like a big punch, so it's almost like a comic panel, like where it's like big dynamic moves and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, they just don't. I don't know. They just don't know what to do. But anyways. But yeah, getting back to the comics, it's like, like you're opening up every page and like, whoa, like what's the next page going to be in the next page? And it's like you wanted to read it and get through it. Now I'm reading basically most of the stuff I'm reading is because I have to do a video on it. So now I have to review it because I review books. And it's like, it's not as fun as just like I want to read. Like I didn't even when I was doing my 90s thing originally, when I was just flipping through stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this for me. I'm just going to read them myself. And if I, just to have fun and read them.
Yeah.
And just to connect back to that.
Yeah.
That's why we're keeping this, like, this stream more loose in that sense. But
yeah,
I don't know. And people look down on it and everything. It's just tell me now. So we just talked about Sentinel, Spawn, Shadowhawk. Who else was a black hair?
Shadowhawk. Yeah. Well, I mean, Ripclaw was Native American.
Right. Ripclaw. Oh, he's awesome.
Masada was Israeli. They did it. And they weren't. There was no agenda. They just felt to do it.
Right. So now that you've got these characters, tell me now who the new people are. The new people are nothing. The new people are Nick Fury's now black. That's not new. Like
I prefer a new character with its own history and standing on its own feet.
They won't do it after the Milestone guys. We have Youngblood and Milestone guys. For diversity.
Icon's his own thing.
That's it. And it's like, what happened? Where is this? So the 90s suck. They're cheesy. The stories weren't that good. The characters were derivative. Perfect. Let's see your characters.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna take Spider-Man and say it's Gwen, and we're gonna make Spider-Gwen. That's not a new character.
That's not a character.
That's not a new character.
Count.
Okay. I like Miles Morales, but I'm gonna make fun of him. It's like, well, we're gonna have this.
He's still Spider-Man. That's the thing.
But it's Spider-Man. It's like, but he's not Spider-Man though. Like it's not Spider-Man. So, well, okay. We're gonna do. I can't. Like they've thought of 0 people. It's like, we'll make Iceman gay. It's like, okay, but he was obviously not gay. He had 4,000
just make new characters. It's
like,
he was obviously not gay before. That was the weird thing about that because there are countless comics where he's like dating women.
He's dating so many women. I read
even the Amazing Friends. He's trying to date. Firestar and Peter Parker's like, I have a date with her tonight, right?
Yeah. I always thought that was weird too. I'm like, what is going on in this?
It's like Three's Company or something.
Three's Company, I know. But it's like the reverse. The reverse,
yeah.
But like, I'm like, okay, so the 90s sucked. And it was all derivative and it was all cheesy and whatever. It's like, okay, perfect. Where are your characters? Oh, we don't have any. Okay, so shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember the last. Hey, Keely.
Thank you, Lee.
Hey, I can't remember the last time there's this creativity, and yeah, so there was so much creativity. Some of it didn't work. Some of it was okay. Some people loved some didn't. Whatever, that happens.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, where is it now? Oh, the creativity is Snowflake and Safe Space. Sorry, guys. I think I'll take these people.
But aren't you, if you're a creator, aren't you excited to make a new guy? Like, aren't you excited to make like a new character that's its own thing and not a poster child for a cause, but just like a character like Superman, but like, you know, but another one, you know, and make it like make that character black or a woman or whatever you want.
Icon is
aren't
Superman.
aren't you excited? Like that's the Image guys are full of optimism and hope. And they were making guys left, right, and center. And like Sentinel was one of them. And Spawn was one of them. It's like, you know, Todd McFarlane wasn't culturally appropriating anything. It's just he just, you know, like, and when you read those comics, it didn't seem like it was in your face. Like this dude was a government operative. And then when he comes back, his wife is dating some other dude. You know, it's like
I forgot Spawn was black until Greymalkin just said it.
Yeah,
because I thought of Spawn as a character. I wasn't thinking of him as a race.
Right. That's the
I didn't even. I did honestly. I know he's black. Obviously, I have every Spawn thing there was.
Right.
But I didn't think of it. I was like, oh yeah, Al Simmons. It's like, oh, he's a black guy. And it's like,
I keep forgetting about Shadowhawk, although there's other guys. But
Shadowhawk, I remember because that was like a big reveal in the comic or whatever.
That was a big reveal that he was black. But like, but the problem with that was that I felt like the reveal was that he was black, not that he's this character. That was
I agree with you.
And the thing is, they changed the character anyways, and then they made it who is the new Shadowhawk. That was literally the name of that comic. I have a few issues with that.
You mean Sean?
I'm Sean, not Steve. Even though it says Sean in the freaking thing there.
he knows. He just, it's just a typo. It's fine. We forgive you.
That's okay.
But yeah, like I mean, like you had all these great characters. Like it's like, yeah, Spawn. I didn't think, oh, Spawn is a black character. I just thought, oh, Spawn is this awesome character. And Todd McFarlane, he led with that character. That was the opening.
That was his guy.
Spawn is the most successful Image character.
Oh
there is, period. Yeah. And he was the poster. I have the poster for it.
Yeah.
Got the poster, movie poster, got the soundtrack. Saw the movie opening night.
Poster looks cool. It is Spawn.
It's Spawn. Yeah. I got the cartoon. Obviously, got that. I got the tin back there. It's like, I love Spawn. Nowhere did anyone ever mention to me, oh, this is because it's a black guy. So yeah, we're doing some great work here in the community. What are you talking about? It's like Spawn's awesome. I don't know what I don't care.
Yeah,
I forgot about Masada until you just said it now, and I remember, and I just read one of hers. Like, oh yeah, she
was literally powered by the dead Israelis or something like that.
Yes, no, I know.
Yeah,
it's like so. The Image guys were doing all of this before it was trendy, but they were doing it from a place of creativity and coolness.
Yeah,
it's like, I want Sentinel to be the most badass guy ever. It's basically Wesley Snipes. I always thought Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man style, like, you know, could have been because he's got to have the widow's peak hair.
Like I couldn't think of anyone at the time. Nowadays, is like there's this internet guy, Cali Muscle. I don't know if you've ever seen. He's this mega muscle guy. That guy could just put armor on that guy, and that guy he could.
There's a couple of bodybuilders.
He's a bodybuilder. So
what's his name?
Kali Muscle, I think, or Muscle Cali Muscle.
Yeah. Oh my God! Yes, this guy.
Yeah, that guy could totally be Sentinel.
Holy shit! No, but there's a few, because I used to be into the bodybuilding stuff, and there's a few guys who are like, holy shit! Like, this guy's the guy, man.
Yeah. So, like, to me, the real boom of creativity for Image was 92 to 94, because like they're coming out with debut stuff all that time. Whilce Portacio, he's the 7th, but the thing about him was his sister, I think, passed away or something like that. I know he talks about it in the inside cover of issue 1 of Wetworks. Wetworks was going to be one of the debut things in 92. And it wasn't until like 94 that came out. And like there wasn't anything saying in 94 is going to come out. Like, we didn't know, like, every month it was delayed.
Right.
And I remember when issue 1 came out and I had it, I told my dad the story, like, oh, this guy, and like, he had tragedy in the family, and he got mad for some reason. He didn't even care about any of this stuff. He's like, well, then suck it up. It's like, let's get it out there. And so it's been years, I'm like, Dad, like, his sister died. Like, well, I don't know what to tell you. But I thought Wetworks was pretty cool. I don't know if you read a bunch of them, but
I got Wetworks #1. I believe I sold it.
Oh yeah, I like Wetworks. I like the writing of it. It was more, maybe because of the tragedy, it was more intimate, but it still had the action.
I'm definitely going to recollect it. I'm going to get all this stuff again.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot. The big regrets was the Spawn 1 to 50 because I sold those.
Yeah,
and Spider-Man 1 to 40 is those are my 2 regrets. Because I got Spawn. Man, I went to 50 on Spawn. That's crazy. I never missed one.
Yeah, I went to 50 continuously, and then after that, I bought sporadic issues till about 110. So I have way more Spawn and like way more of that than any other Image thing, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, for sure, time. One thing I got. We never mentioned these guys yet. I got. And went to like number 16 or 17, which is Cyberforce.
Yeah. Dude, now I dropped off because there was such a delay between 1 and 2 that I lost interest. But I'm reading it now, and it's pretty cool. It's very imagey,
Yeah. Oh, I just loved every character, and I bought. They did PVC minis of all the characters. I got them all. So they're all on my shelf here from back then.
It's Ripclaw and shit, right?
Ripclaw, Striker, Velocity.
Right.
Who else is there? But so again, I took a G.I. Joe and I made Striker. Okay, thanks for popping in, Gray. Take care. We'll see. I don't know if we'll see on the next week. This week from today, we're doing Batman. No, week from today, is it Batman already?
Yeah. Saturday, you scheduled Batman talk.
Yeah. Wow, today's
the Batman.
The Batman.
You gotta put that's the latest trend, eh?
I did put the Batman. I'm pretty
sure. Batman.
Yeah, I put the Batman. So yeah, we'll be talking about the Batman spoiler talk. So everyone's seeing it the first few days. I'm assuming we're going Thursday night, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, that's fair. That gives people some time.
Spoilers. It's 3 hours long. Take a catheter with you. Fucking pee in a colostomy bag. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, Cyberforce, I don't know. I just got super excited for the covers. I never sold those. I didn't even consider selling those. I kept it. But I used to draw these characters. So I drew Savage Dragon. I would draw Witchblade. I would draw Spawn. I should have pulled out, maybe on the next stream, I'll go pull out my drawings that I did. They're not that good, but there's good.
No, but you're excited and you're trying to draw them. That's when a comic is like really like hitting it.
And then Max, my most drawn characters, because he was very easy to draw. He was big and he was like a big.
Well, he's weirdly designed. That strange, like, it's basically a mask, right? But that strange like teeth thing,
I never understood. I could never wrap my head around what that was, because they treat him like a homeless guy. But he's obviously not a man. Like, it just looked weird to me.
It's a weird comic, but it's strange. It's cool to read now because, like, what the hell was it? It's so different than the other ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd. Yeah,
I got rid of my Max.
Oh, he's so weird looking. It's like, you think he's like freaking purple and yellow with claws and like a thing?
Yeah, like they're like, oh, he's wearing a mask, but like his feet were like this big, and it's like his legs were huge.
Yeah.
I couldn't wrap my head around like what he looks like outside of that costume, but it's not a costume.
Well, he's very cartoony. It's like it's hard to think of him in 3D. Like, I guess they made figures of Max, but like I don't know how they would do that. I would have to get one. I never had the
figure. I was so upset. It was so hard to find. My other friend Sean, was able to get the Max. I was like, I was so jealous of that. I wanted it so badly.
Well, did they not make I thought they made like bags of Iz's and you got 4 in a bag.
No, it was like it was one of these stupid toy things where some Max figures came with a black Iz and some came with a white Iz.
Oh God, you got
it's one of the, instead of just giving you one of each, like just give me one of each guy.
Yeah.
And I think the black is from the real world, and the white is from the Outback. I think.
Yeah, I know the black is form a big creature.
Yeah, they form a creature. I think that's in the present times,
Right.
and the white is are from the Outback.
From the
Wherever.
Outback, yeah.
But that was a cool. I mean, that was just a very stylized comic, and it's awesome. I
Well,
don't
I mean,
have
MTV
any.
picked it up for their cartoon, right?
I think I only have issue 2. I had issue 1, 2, 3, 4. So, but again, I got rid of those.
I have
Yeah,
all I
here's
have
issue
now
2.
is issue 1 and the issue where he fights Pitt because Pitt's in it.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's like 10 or something.
Like, where's like, I mean, it's just so weird. Like, I'm trying to find a good page. Like, and Julie, it's like really
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't afraid to draw some chub on the women. You know, it's like they weren't super stylized, aestheticized and stuff. They're more, they
Hey,
looked
Double C.
realistic. They looked rounder and softer. Like they looked like a person.
I really like the art. Like,
Yeah.
here's him fighting Mr. Gon.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just thought this was like really cool. Oh my god, he's shaving
Hey,
and
Double
stuff.
C.
That's awesome. Hey, Double C.
So you got all the Super Patriots, right? Because like Super Patriot,
I love Super Patriot.
I remember I was able to get all 4. I think they came out at that point. If they did a miniseries, I think the mandate was like, maybe this is the Scolder in Chief taking charge, but Tom McFarlane, he's like, do them all and then we'll release them all, right? You know, don't do one and then like wait like 2 months and do another one,
right?
So Super Patriot came out like boom.
I don't have any Super Patriots though. I think I got.
Oh no, I was all over Super Patriot. I thought it was
the
so
toy
cool,
is the
man.
best. He's got the rooted hair for the ponytail.
Yeah.
The toy was awesome.
Yeah,
no, I think I got rid of them. I had everything. I had every number 1 of everything.
Oh yeah.
And then I got they're all gone because what I ended up doing was anything that I didn't have a kind of a run on. The selling point was Spawn 1 to 50, and then the other ones I just threw in. I just filled a short box and said, "Here you go," and I just shoved in all because it's like
I was following the stories, and so that's why I have some runs. But like beyond
I didn't have a lot of runs because it's like I couldn't find everything. It
was hard. It was hard. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm lucky I have a lot of these, like, and even Brigade and Team Youngblood. And Youngblood itself, that's a disaster. I have like hardly any of those. That's a disaster.
We talked about that, like between April 92 to like July 93, there were like 6 issues, and one of them was a 0. So it's like issues 1 to 5, and then 6, and 5 was on the back of Brigade 4. So like you got fooled. Yeah.
It said Cyberforce did that as well.
Oh yeah,
with I think Wildcats or something, or I don't know.
I gotta say too, Spawn, like, so Violator, when Alan Moore wrote the freaking Violator miniseries,
I had that,
and it doesn't even seem like he did because it's just like all mayhem, right? And it's that's 94. Violator was in grocery stores and convenience stores, and so was Angela. And like any Spawn thing was in convenience stores. And it's like, and we could just pick them up, right? Violator, I now between, I think it was like April, I think it was May and like July or something like that. They released them, boom, and I was able to get them all. And many moons ago in '94, I was a competitive swimmer. You know this, Jammin.
Yeah.
And there was this thing called the Peace Game. So like one year they do it in our city, and next year they do it in Indianapolis. So that year we had to go to Indianapolis, and I was packing my stuff, and I packed all the Violators. And it's like Violator, awesome. Executioner Song, because it's a long bus ride to get there. So like I read Violator in Indianapolis, like all of them. Like I was saving them up. I didn't want to read like issue 1 and then so I read all of them in Indianapolis. Is like freaking awesome. But like I put them in mega bags to keep them safe. You've
been violated.
But yeah, Violator went with me to the States and back.
I had the toy. I had every toy. We'll have to do a thing on toys one time.
Oh yeah.
Like I had the toys, man. I was all over that. And like when Spawn was coming out, well, we'll do a Spawn day when we talk about the movies and stuff too. But like when Spawn was coming out, I was like, this is gonna be the greatest movie ever. I got the soundtrack, I got the poster. we went like opening night, first row at the Uptown Theater downtown. And we're like, oh yeah, and Melinda Clark was in it, who was like the greatest, and because they couldn't get Chapel because Liefeld, that's Liefeld's guy, and so they used Priest instead of Chapel. And I was like, oh man, I can't wait. And then I was like, and Angela was in it for that 1 second, and I was like, oh my god. And I thought this is okay. And then I don't know, I thought it was cool, but I wasn't super dying over it. I just felt like something was kind of missing.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll do a movie episode on that. But yeah, getting back to those guys, like, I mean, it was super exciting because you went to the shops and it was kind of in that time where you didn't really know exactly what was coming out. Like I didn't really know, like, it's not like I knew that, oh, this person's going to release Cyberforce on this day. It's like, I didn't really know. I just showed up and whatever was there, I grabbed, right?
I think I knew. I think I knew. Well, first of all, hey, Raquel, I thank you so much. I think I knew.
Oh, that's the Star Trek guy. That's a Star Trek character as the Avatar.
Oh, cool. I think I knew about Image from Wizard Magazine was one, but also honestly, it was on the news. Like I remember Tom McFarlane talking about Image on the local news, and what's his name? Rob Liefeld was making the rounds too.
Yeah.
It was like in the air. It was on CNN. It was on
Dennis Miller is the one I remember.
Yeah, Dennis Miller, but like CNN reported on it because Marvel stock went down.
You sent me the clip of that. Yeah, that was awesome, man.
And it's like it was in the air. I think I knew about the actual titles themselves probably from Wizard. I remember when between 1 and 10 around there of Spawn. There was an issue where there's some Klansmen in it, and one Klansman, he has to have them spout some sort of hatred, right? So they never use the N-word, but they call one dude a mutant or something like that. And I remember there's a news story. I don't know where this was, but maybe Entertainment Tonight or something like that, where a mother was all angry about this, and it's like, oh, it's racist and stuff. And I was like, and I remember being angry about this as a young man. I was like, but he's supposed to show you that they're racist. Like, the morality of that issue is not, oh, he's in the right or something like that.
Right,
like,
I know. Yeah. I don't understand this thing. You can't show stuff anymore. It's like,
or not. Well, I was going to say, like, they were angry about that, but not the one where the ice cream man is like molesting kids. It's like, that was sold in like grocery stores and stuff.
Yeah,
it's like,
whatever, like,
yeah. But the morality was never, like that's, like Spawn like destroys those guys because, because that's what it was supposed to be, right? And I think that's we talked about this before. That's probably why we were disappointed. Well, I was disappointed with the movie because. Yeah. It's the comic was serious and the HBO show was serious. So what was going on with the film? But yeah, no, I just feel like I knew about a lot of this stuff and the people behind it from the news. Entertainment Tonight, CNN, ABC, NBC. Over here we had CBC and CTV. They were doing news stories on this because it was the big thing at the time. Was comic books and speculators, but also in amongst this is like Image, like basically feeding the speculators what they want. Lots of number ones, lots of new characters and stuff. But they would have like, Eric Larson is at like some Comic Con somewhere just sketching and just talking while he sketches. Like every single time someone interviews him, it's like, well, blah, blah, blah. It's like he won't even look them in the eye.
Yeah, it's like I'm drawing. What do you want?
It's like get away from me. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they were just. It was the news, and they were personalities because of it, and that sort of thing you don't really see anymore.
I mean, it's shocking to think that these guys, like Rob Liefeld's on a talk show, Todd McFarlane's talking, the news is talking about this. I'm like, why is the news talking about? It's like Youngblood #1. They're like, really? Like, they didn't do a news report on X-Force #1 coming out or whatever, right? Like. It's like
speculation was different at the time. It was founded on the idea that the Silver Age happened, the Golden Age happened, and Superman #1 was skyrocketing in price. Not Superman, Action Comics #1 is skyrocketing in price, And the thing is that like an Amazing Fantasy 15 was sort of like Spider-Man wasn't big in the mainstream yet, and people bought these things thinking in along the lines of Silver Age. Nowadays, speculation is different. Speculation is driven by media, and so if a character is in a movie or a TV show hits, then the speculation on the first appearances of those characters raises up in price, like Rocket Raccoon or Walking Dead #1, right? It's different nowadays. So if you do a #1, no one cares.
Thank you. Thanks so much for subscribing. Yes, we try to entertain. we try to help out and keep everyone entertaining, keep it light and loose and not too brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, can you imagine, like, I mean, and well, Superman, Death of Superman, which we're going to cover this, we're going to do the next topic, Superman's death. But like, comics on the news was so weird to me. I was just like people are talking about this like it matters. I'm like, wow, I can't believe it. And I remember the clips that you showed me, some of the old clips where they're like, oh, I'm going to pay for my college and all that.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
they had that Silver Age mentality.
They had that mentality. And for me, I'm thinking, I think if you were there at the time, you weren't thinking that. Like, I'm just like, I just want to read this because this looks cool. And when I I don't know how old exactly we were, 14 or something, or what, I don't know.
13 or 14 when
13, okay, so let's say 14. Even as a 14-year-old, I'm looking around saying, well, there's a lot of people in this comic shop right now buying these Image comics. Like, I don't think this will be worth anything, because I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, but there is like,
but they're also buying it for the express purpose of keeping it pristine, and therefore there will be no rarity.
There'll be no rarity.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking too, I'm like, people are like, and somebody was saying, oh, this is like Action Comics or Detective Comics. I'm like, are you guys insane?
There's like 4 Action Comics #1 in the world. That's why it's so
right. Kids used to take Action Comic. Kids used to take these comics, read them, shove them under their beds, or shove them between the mattress to hide from their parents. Then when the kid turned 14 or 15, the mom would find this stack and be like, why are you still reading this trash? And then it'd be thrown out. It's like,
that's why when you see like a minty fresh X-Men 1 or something like that, it's pretty remarkable because it survived all that time, plus the attitudes at the time, you know. So
my mom, like Rob Liefeld said on his podcast, he goes, my mom used to put her drinks on the dude, my buddy's mom would do that too. I'd be over it and be like, why is like X Factor number like 50 got like a friggin' drink on it?
I didn't treat my comics very well either. It's like, like if I didn't have a bag or anything, like I'd buy comics, like I'd bike ride to like the Beckers or whatever, and I'd buy comics. I'd buy or Max Milk or something.
Max Milk, baby.
And I'd buy them, and I realized, because I'm a stupid kid, I didn't have a bag. So then I would wrap the comics around my bike handles.
Oh, Sean, you're killing me, no.
And
oh my God, no.
And the rivets of the bike handles would like eat into the art and sometimes like mess it up. And
no, you're killing me.
Or I'd shove it. I'd roll it up and shove it into my back pocket.
Killing me.
And just like, but when I rode my bike, I would like ride standing, do the standing pedal. So listen, we're kids. That's what we did. I didn't think that like Punisher War Journal #1 would be like mega expensive later on, right? And it kind of isn't now, I think.
I
stuff like Punisher and stuff rose up in price, went hot, and then it went right down. Yeah. It's like Punisher 1 miniseries and #1 series is like,
I love. I've got the full War Journal. I've got Punisher #1 with the bazooka at the window.
Yes, the bazooka thing.
That's in perfect condition.
Yeah.
And then I've got Punisher War Journal 1 to 80, the full thing.
Yeah.
And that's Jim Lee's thing. That was the Jim Lee stuff when he fought Wolverine and stuff. That was Jim Lee.
Now, when you read comics, I did this as a habit. Like I just talked about how I mess up. I would grab it the spine, so the spine would never open fully, and I would read it like that, right?
I mean, I would read it like if I was taking something like I'd read it like this, so I wouldn't open it fully. Like a V.
I would do this so that the spine never fully opens, and I would go like I just read.
I got you like that. Yeah, like this. Yeah, like you'd hold it, you'd pinch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, man. It's what works.
Oh, Wellworks is awesome. The toys are cool too. There's a girl who worked for me at my escape room, and she loves Marvel movies. She loved the Marvel movies, and I was like, well, have you read any comics? And she's like, no, I didn't read any comics. I'm like, okay, so I bought her a comic, and then she did this, and I'm not gonna do it, but like she folded it around. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, don't do that. I said, stop right there. I was like, you can't do that.
I did that to old comics, like the Mickey Mouse stuff, you know, right. or like Harvey comics. I did that for those. Yeah.
No, I was like, you're killing me right now. I'm like, don't do
that.
I
know.
Nowadays, though, I don't care. Like anything new that I buy, I just read it normally. I don't care. It's not gonna be worth anything.
Yeah. Plus, like some of my comics, I look online and they're worth like tons. But you know what? I've read them. You know, means not eating cereal while reading it. Yeah.
Yeah. Rob Liefeld used to have pizza and comics, and he goes, then my greasy fingers would be moving, turning the pages and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because I did that Super Mario video, right?
Yeah, I saw
it. And that no one watched, but anyways,
I watched
it. And while I was doing it, I went on eBay to see if I could like fill in some gaps in my collection, and those things are expensive. Those things are like skyrocketed in price, and I'm like, oh my god! And then after that, I'm like, oh, this is like gold. I have to protect it, but it's got like cracks in the spine and stuff. But they're more and more they're getting rare, right? Like some of this old stuff, you probably go through your comics. If you looked up some of this stuff online, it's probably worth a ton. And it's like, well, I mean, I treat it in the condition I treat it in, and you know.
Well, my Prophet #1.
Yeah.
Now Prophet's first appearance is Youngblood #2.
Yes.
So Prophet #1 doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But mine's awful. It's like torn.
It's like my darker image. I don't know where it is, but like it's Max. Like if Max ever came back as like a thing, that darker image is gonna go up in price, I guess. But I rent the heck out of that thing. So
yeah, I had it as well, and I think it came in one of those bags, right? Didn't it come in a bag already, and then you had to peel it?
If it did, my bag's long gone. So I don't know.
So like mine was just beat up. Yeah, just using it as shin guards. That's funny. I like to complete my gold keys. Oh yes,
Star Trek. Yeah. I only have trade paperbacks of those, but I'd like to get the original ones.
Yeah, it's hard to like. I mean, some of this stuff you just gotta have to pay the money, because you know what the problem is, like, because of the market now, that people are looking for it to be money. You know what else irritates me? Where someone like literally a lot of these comics, I was telling Sean earlier, you can go to, there's a shop somewhat close to me that has like a 50-cent bin, and you can find tons of this stuff in there.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna clear it. I'm just gonna take $100 and just get 200 comics. I'll just wait and just give the guy $100 cash and say, let me loosen the back, and I'll grab what I can. But like, it's like they're pretending it's this big pristine thing. I like the idea that like I like the idea that for 50 cents you can get a cool looking comic that has a lot of good art. The story might not be the best, but it's fun enough for you to read, and you could just buy a bunch of like. Just go buy random ones. Like, you just take like a handful of random ones and just like, flip through them. The thing now with people is like they can't grasp the concept of just picking up a comic. They don't know what to, like, well, this is why we have a #1 every 6 months or whatnot. Well, not let's say every like what? I'd say every 3 to 4 years. X-Men #1 just rebooted again. They're on #9. It's like, stop it. Stop doing this. And I can't. Why can't you pick up issue 15 or 100? I'd pick up.
Well, no, we were picking up. We talked about this before. Yeah. We were picking up Spider-Man in like the 300s.
Yeah, I'm in like 319.
The mid
to
I started high to get 200s. Yeah.
319. I remember because that was my door number where I was living. I'm like 319. That was the Scorpion and thing. That's Tom McFarlane. That's where I was getting heavy. Where I'm like, I got to get every Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and it's like, who cares? I had a few. I had maybe some earlier ones. I like Spectacular Spider-Man because I felt that because Spectacular Spider-Man, I was there a little bit earlier on for that. Like I was in the hundreds or something for that one. So
I remember. Okay, so this is really Canadian, but Zellers. There was a Zellers up by me.
Raquel's Canadian, you know that, right?
Yes, I know that. Yeah, but there was a Zellers up by my parents' house, and I don't know what happened if they came to a warehouse of comics, but they right next to the toy aisle, they also had a whole bunch of just comics, not bagged or anything, but comics from like the 70s and 80s, stacked and piled. And some of them were on the floor and everything because kids came like, and they
Walmart still has it.
and I bought tons. Of Alex Ross Fantastic Four. Yeah. Yeah, they were going through that in the last Clubhouse, I think. But I bought tons and tons and tons of comics, and they were just to read. I never thought that I can make an investment at this. Like, they had the entire Millennium series, which was the DC Comics thing, which
I
gave birth to the new team and everything. And they used to draw those guys. They're nothing now, but yeah, no, I bought all that stuff. Weird War. I bought like tons of Weird War from DC Comics. Right now at Walmart, people don't really talk about this, but they have the packaged comics as like 3 comics or so, and you don't really know sometimes what you're getting.
You only see the
I don't
first.
buy those, but they're modern comics, right? So
yeah, so they're not worth it. Like, they have Superman 78 though, but it's like Superman 78 issue 1, and then you flip it, it's like a Wonder Woman or something. So they give you like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 in a pack, but you only see the top and the back. You only see those 2.
But they're not fun because they're new comics. Like, there's something about like getting random comics from the Bronze Age or 70s or 60s or something, because there's a cool story going on in there, and there's a lot of excitement and action. And modern comics is a lot of philosophy, and like, not just philosophy, but just half-baked ideas about society and stuff. It's like, they're superheroes. Why isn't there a villain coming in and they fight, or they save somebody? What about that? How about that?
Somebody said this. So I was watching. Raquel's gonna know this one, I think, too. So I sent Clobby a message, and I sent him the Ed the Sock.
Yeah.
The Ed the Sock video.
Ed the Sock,
yeah. Yeah.
I worked on that show a couple of episodes.
Oh my god, that is awesome.
You can hate me now, but yeah.
Oh my god. So yeah, Ed the Sock. I sent him the Ed the Sock breakdown of the Zack Snyder, the Man of Steel, and BVS and all of that.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, he literally destroys it. And he goes, we want to have something fun in our lives. We want to escape the real world. We want to have heroes doing heroic things, punching the bad guys and, saving the day and all that. It's like, WTF, like, what happened? Yeah. Like, what is going on? Like, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is like, and that video is old because that came out when BVS came out.
Yeah.
So like, it literally is still applying, and you're like, guys, like, when are you going to get it through your heads? And comics, look, out of the top 50 comics, once you get into like the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29 like spots, you're decreasing numbers like crazy. Like, the 50th best-selling comic is like 10,000 a month or something crazy like that. It's like, that's outrageously low.
Yeah, they used to be selling in the millions. And
like, when you think that X-Force, everyone's, Rob Liefeld's trash, and it's like, okay, X-Force #1 sold 5 million copies. I'm sorry, how many did even if you took, I'm not going to mention names because I want to throw people on the bus, but if you take some of these writers' names, take one of these writers and put everything that they've ever written together, and the amount of sales of everything they've ever written, it's not 5 million.
Yeah, things are different now, though. Yeah, things are different now, though. It's like you're talking about the floppies when they first come out, but like, I think a lot of the revenue is coming from trade paperbacks and like, like Barnes and Noble or like Chapters or something like that, right? It's like Walking Dead, in its heyday when the show was white hot for like a good 4 years or so. People were buying Walking Dead, but I think a lot of them were buying them from Chapters. They weren't going into the comic stores and buying the latest issues. Because I remember one Christmas season I was in Chapters, and there were people trying to buy. They were hovering around the Walking Dead section.
Yeah, the
and
volumes.
The Chapters person wasn't any help because they didn't know much about what. So I ended up answering the question.
I do this all the time.
Yeah, and it's like, I was like, well, I can help you with that. It's like, oh, well, the first appearance of this guy is in this volume, and did you know that they made a novelization as well? It's a brand new story, and I'm selling this stuff. I don't even work at Chapters, but my point is that, like, I think comic revenue is a lot different now. I think that, like, when a comic is white hot, it's white hot differently and for different reasons. And it's like with Walking Dead, I don't think that the floppies coming out every month or whatever were white hot when the show was white hot. I think the volumes were white hot.
Well, more people, you're right. The trades were up there, but the floppies were doing good as well.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. The point is that still declined because not everything goes to trade, and now they do write for trades. They write it in terms of they know that they want to make a trade out of it as opposed to a one-off story or whatever.
So how many people think that, like, Watchmen was always a trade? It wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah. Well, people did think that.
Thank you, Raquel. You're one of my favorite people too on the internet.
I was talking to a girl at my work, and she was saying, "Oh, I really like graphic novels." I was like, "Oh God, I hate when someone says that." And I said, "Okay, look," I said, I think you're cool, so I'm gonna beat you up a little bit. I'm like, they're just comic books. They just pretend they took all these comic books and stapled them together. Right. And she's like, no. They're made to be like that.
No, they're not. There's like 12 of them. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Yeah. I said this before to you. It's like all these comics are white hot only because of their movies and stuff. Like the first appearance of Carnage went up in price because of the Venom 2 and all that stuff. But like Watchmen, all 12 issues, you can get it for under $100. It's one of the seminal works in comics. They reprint it all the time. It's like you can get them everywhere. It's always continuously in print from the day it was first printed. And you'd figure the original printings would be worth tons of money, and they're not, because no one cares about Watchmen in mainstream, right? They want the latest. They want, Carnage #1, the first appearance of Rocket Raccoon or someone they've seen in a movie, right? Yeah.
Right. So that was the whole. Yeah. So my point when she was saying, well, I liked Watchmen, I said that was 12 comics. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, well, I have them. So I'm pretty sure about that one.
Yeah.
And then I said, pick any. I said, literally, tell me anything. And she said Martha Washington, which is, I never read this comic.
No, it was floppies.
It was flop. Yeah. And I was like, who? Like I said, what is it called? I said, no. I said, I guarantee that was floppy. I said, I guarantee that was comics. And she's like, no, I don't think so. I was like, let's check. I'm like, yep, there they are. And she's like, what the heck? I was like, literally, they're all comic books. Yeah. Because they're taking these and collecting them together. She was stunned. I'm like, they're not.
Yeah.
Like, this impression that they've given, it's like this great graphic novel. It's like, it's literally comic books. It's like, if you have nobody wants these trades. They're not worth anything.
Yeah, graphic novel was always a selling point thing. Like Mouse was always a graphic novel. I don't think there were floppies of that.
Yeah, no.
And some of these things come out as graphic novels now, like actual, like Just the Thing, right?
Yeah. But those are like made to be that too, right?
Yeah.
Or it's an independent guy who just wants to sell like a Kickstarter thing or whatever, and then makes like a fat book. Like, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I don't have it with me now, but like the Jack Kirby, his life and times or whatever.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Complete,
yeah, I have that. It's awesome, by the way. If you want, if
you can get it. You can get it digital. I think I have it on digital.
I couldn't find it digital. That's why I bought it like hard copy.
I think it's on Kindle though.
Oh,
it's this Kindle thing.
But yeah, no, like I gave Steve like a graphic novel of the history of Tetris. It's awesome. And, like, dude, there's a lot that people died.
Oh my God! To make Tetris,
there's a suicide. KGB was involved. They played that in Kick-Ass 2, where
oh my God,
that woman is like destroying those cars and she's like stacking them up or whatever. Yeah,
I gotta rewatch. I haven't watched Kick-Ass in a while. I just realized that I don't own. I sold all the Scream movies.
Oh wow!
Because I had the DVDs, so then I was waiting for a Blu-ray pack.
Steve gave me all of his, so yeah.
Well, I got the Blu-rays now.
I haven't seen all of them, so.
Oh, I just watched Scream 5. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh God, Scream 5.
5, yes. But okay, so wait.
I was gonna say like did you get Batman Spawn, which was like,
yes.
So Spawn came out in 92.
Yes, I did.
And then in 94 he's crossing over with Batman. It's like they're super eager to like, create these synergies.
I don't know, I cannot find that Batman Spawn. I don't know if I did not mean to sell that. That may have gotten sold by accident with my Image comic pack. You're gaming for 2 weeks without sleep. Yeah, it's like, man, we used to be like hardcore, but like, no. So I don't know where that is. I cannot find it. I was looking for that the other day because when they were talking about how Rob, and we're going to do an episode on this on the Heroes Reborn and all that.
Oh,
or Heroes Return, or is it Reborn? I gotta look.
Heroes Return is after Reborn.
So it's Heroes Reborn, right?
I have all of them.
What's
found
this
them
one?
The other day, yeah.
What's this?
That's Heroes Reborn.
Okay,
that's Liefeld's Captain America, right?
Yeah,
so,
that's what I'm talking about. So
that was a neat. We can talk about that. That was a neat story.
Yeah, because it's 90s, isn't it?
And they've basically taken elements of that and made modern Cap out of it. So,
to tell you the truth, man, I thought it was effing awesome.
It's good.
Like the Rob Liefeld ones.
And even then, the mentor is African American. It's
That's true.
He's inserting them everywhere, man. He's like, yeah.
I thought we'll do an episode on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the point being is that, Image, it brought a lot of stuff out. It's like, it was just creative craziness.
Yeah.
And some characters didn't stick, some stuck. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But they're trying to do new things and bring something new. And I know that that guy kind of looks like Batman, and this guy's a Wolverine ripoff.
Was it Seahawk or whatever his name?
Seahawk, yes, I like Seahawk. And Dutch, you're like Dutch is almost like a Batman.
Dutch is Batman, but with a thing around
his thing.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, whatever. I thought they were cool.
You look back and you appreciate the fact that there's a lot of creativity.
Take care. Yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you in an hour. I guess an hour from now, or less than an hour from now.
Yeah, Star Trek.
Yeah, we always end these before that. I don't. It's never happening.
They were creating. You can admire the fact that there's a lot of creativity. A lot of listen. No matter how derivative you think these characters were, if you read them, they were unique. They're trying to do new things. And I said this about all 90s comics. It's like a lot of these guys, there's like 20 different Punishers, but each one had a different backstory or something, or and there's like 20 different Supermen or whatever. But Supreme, I wouldn't say is Superman. It's a completely different thing. And it's entertaining to read. And I think the problem is it looks mesmerizing now because you just don't get that now. And I'm talking about superhero comics. I know that comics have branched off. I like Saga. I'm reading it now. Saga is really good. If they ever did a TV show and did it accurate to that comic, that could rival Game of Thrones. I know everyone says that.
I haven't read any of Saga. I see it all the time on the list. Oh, it just came out last week or whatever.
You have to read from the first thing because it is an ongoing story.
It's a saga.
But there's a lot of good interconnectivity and all this BS. But yeah, no, superhero comics, they were creating guys all over the place, and it was awesome because you just don't see that now. You don't see that excitement and optimism and creativity and hope and wonder. It's like oh my god, Eternal Warrior or whatever, or even with it Savage Dragon, he's a cop, and it's on issue 300 whatever now, it's Spawn, he's the gritty one, and Wildcats, they look awesome, there's gonna be a cartoon, and you don't get that excitement of something new coming out and eating it up and following the characters and seeing where it's gonna go. Times however many titles there were for Image alone, and then you had everything else. That time is gone, and everyone made fun of it until it died. And now I hope people realize that they had something good there. And if we had even half of that excitement and optimism now, comics would be reborn.
I pick nothing. I get nothing new. I check the League of Comics.
Yeah,
that they tell you the weekly releases or whatever, and I go through it every Monday.
Yeah,
Monday morning, go through it and then grab because Tuesdays when my shop gets the comics and they'll give them to me on Tuesday.
Yeah,
and I go through. It's pass. Oh, Action Comics, yeah, I gotta get that. Okay, Spider-Man, yeah, get that. Pass.
Yeah,
pass. I saw Barbarella and I thought, ooh, Barbarella, this might be kind of neat.
Oh yeah.
So I got a digital of that. And I was like, that's okay. So it's like, I like Sheena, the new Sheena.
But once again, like Barbarella and Sheena are like super old. They're just like
right? It's nothing
warmed
new.
over, like, and that's cool. Like, I would check out Barbarella, but it's like, it's like, it's not like Wildcats or some freaking thing. It's like, or
Nothing
Youngblood
cool.
or something.
And nothing looks like this. The best thing to come out was X-Men Legends, where they actually they brought back Adam, who was another Summers brother or whatever. Is it Alex? No, not Alex. It's was it Adam? What was the guy's name? What was that other brother? Damn, I just read this. I forgot his name already. And it was drawn by a guy who was doing the Jim Lee kind of look. Like he was copying the Jim Lee style. I was like, this is awesome. Anyways, but yeah, it's like all of these comics, because when I was going through those bins at that shop, that's the 50-cent bins, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to buy everything here. Like, it's like everything is so good. So anyway, that time is done. People look at it, and there was a time where I looked back and thought it was crap, but then I was wrong, and then I came to my senses, and I'm like, it's okay. I came to my senses.
Yeah, same with me. But I kept them all, because I knew it was my time in comics, right? And I did always have a soft spot for Spawn. Look, and we've talked about this before. The news, that stupid news page. There's no reason for it, and it didn't tell you anything new. And it's like, why am I even? I skipped that after a while. It's like, forget these 3 news guys. But I was excited by all the different characters coming out, and I think at one point, because I like the Heap, I think at one point he bought the rights to the Heap or something like that.
The Heap, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, the Heap is in this. This is cool. Reading the old Spawns now, they're cool. They're not great. They're not Shakespeare, but like, I remember probably with rose-colored glasses, I'm like, this is actually pretty cool and awesome. And no one was doing this in comics then, and no one's really doing this now. Especially that ice cream. The thing you can say about that ice cream, I'm not going to say the name. I think it's Kincaid or whatever. Yeah. I remember it, and it was terrifying, and it affected me. And that's pretty effective writing. Just the idea of it, right? So.
Plus, it's like the characters were cool. Like I legit like Youngblood Brigade, Bloodstrike, Wildcat, Cyberforce. Like they look cool. It's like, okay. I mean, looks are important because that's an Image. That was their thing. Image was their thing.
And I think we all there was a degree of like, wow, if only I could make characters and make a universe, like what would my team be? It's like how one guy would be a big guy that can grow or something like that. It really jogged your imagination and really captured your imagination. So,
I created I created a ton, and I had a team, and I had the smart guy, I had a big, huge guy. I combined them. So my guy his name was Crusader Cop. So he was a cop, but it was a robot. It was a giant robot cop.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a guy in it. It was a robot, and this guy controlled him. It could see through him. So it's a tech nerdy guy controlling this huge robot cop.
Yeah.
And that's what and then and there was the Red Knight, who was like the leader. It's like I literally created I created teams. Ours was called System Comics, and it was like a green energy ball. It was basically the Lochnar from Heavy Metal.
Lochnar,
His Lochnar, but like I put electricity around it, and it was like a hand like crunching it. So that was the I'm like, because when you're reading these comics, you did get inspired, like, wow, because your whole life has been Batman, Superman, Robin, Wonder Woman, whatever. And then so many new guys came in. Like, just think Stormwatch, Youngblood, Wetworks, Brigade, Bloodstrike, Cyberforce, Savage Dragon, like Death Blow, and you're just like, I don't even know what to do. There's so many guys. I was like, I'm gonna make my own guys.
I made a guy called the Hood, and he was a hooded guy, but he was a Superman guy, and he had like a cape and everything. You could fly. I always copied Superman poses of flying like that, and then just put a hood over him. Now I think back, he looks like a flying Klansman, but like whatever. And there's another guy called I think he was called the Wraith or something like that. He was basically a cross between Wolverine and Spider-Man. I think back now, and I'm like, what the hell was I doing? But he kind of had a Wolverine, like the fin thing, not his hair, but like the helmet. But he can also swing and stuff. So he had like these launchers that could launch like like grappling hooks and you could fly. And like I think back and it's like that is what they were doing at Image. It's like derivative, but like a new thing, right? And like and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna totally draw on. We all thought this, right? And yeah, but like I like you, myself, we weren't the only ones, right? This is what Image, and of course, like that didn't mean like oh, F these things, I'm gonna do my own thing. It's like you went to the comics and you got more inspiration. You bought these comics, right? And it's like this is awesome, and they can do it, I can do it, kind of thing, right? So yeah.
I've still got them, and I drew issues. I had Night Stalker, who's my Punisher character, and I used Night Stalker in the Strong Arm.
Oh yeah.
Because I went back to my old characters and Morn and Executioner and more Executioner I used in the Strong Arm thing.
Yeah.
And Morn, of course, is my character from our books that we wrote, and Neptune as well. And Morn was basically a ripoff of Iron Man. And I retooled it to say it's just a gauntlet instead of a whole power suit.
Oh no, yeah.
Right. So I
like an Exo thing.
Yeah. So I retooled them. But it's like it was Iron Man because it's like powers and shooting, and it doesn't have a what is it, heads up display, or it doesn't have that, but like
no, but that wasn't really a thing in the old comics. That was a movie invention.
Yeah, it didn't have any of that stuff, but it's basically like now it could have that interface where it comes up. And
he had like he goes like this, and there's a thing that shoots
or whatever. Yeah, so it's like now he just shoots with his gauntlet.
Yeah.
But all right, well I think we'll end it off there.
Yeah.
So I think we'll do Superman's death, and we're going to do that. So I think we're going to do that instead of verses this week. So this week's going to be weird. Tuesday, I'll be back with Steve talking about the wrestling stuff.
I can't make Wednesday.
Okay. So let's make it, okay. So you know what? Let's do a different day. Do you want to do like Thursday?
What's Thursday? Yeah, sure.
Oh no, Thursday we're going to see the movie.
Oh no, we're just seeing back. I knew something was Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. So let's do we'll do not this Wednesday, but the one after that, maybe. Yeah. Because this is gonna be Batman week, so it's good. There's just too many things on the go. But we'll be back for that, and then Batman is 1 week from today, so that'll be like break it down, and we'll see. Maybe it'll be awesome, but probably
it'll be amazing. I don't know. Yeah.
I can guarantee you, Sentinel is not going to be in it. So.
Oh yeah.
This is like the antithesis of Image Comics. It's like, let's strip away anything remotely cool and have a guy in all black. The toys are not selling. Well, we'll talk about it then. But
why make toys? I don't. If you're gonna do all of this, it's like there's this big thing in the UK where it's like it's the equivalent of R there, but the thing is, their ratings are you can't go with an accompaniment. You can't go at all if you're under like 15 or something like that.
Right.
So kids can't. So theater owners are like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, people are gonna come to this.
Yeah. So teens that can't go see Batman.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Well, we'll end it off there.
Yeah.
And I'll be back. What did I say? Tuesday. We'll be back Tuesday. All right, guys. Take it easy.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.